Hello everyone, hope everybody is having a great day. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the workshop. So today's video we're going to be working on a really easy project. It's a fun project. We're going to be making a serving tray, otherwise known as a charcuterie board. Honestly, I think the only challenge that you'll find out of this project is just finding the right material to make the board out of. It's pretty obvious I need to clean out my workshop, but I've got a pretty decent stash of stuff over there in the corner. The board that I'm going to choose to use here, I found in the loft of a barn a few years back. I've already planed it down, but this board, probably pushing 100 years old. It's been sitting up in the barn for a long time. It's already dried and it's pretty brittle. As you can see, there's a decent crack here on this upper end of the board, but I think I can work with it. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Actually, I think I'm going to be able to turn into an accent to the board and the finished product. That'll make it look pretty cool. This board is probably just shy of 12 inches wide, about 1 inch thick, and I think it's about 28 inches in length from end to end. You can choose to design the layout however you want, but this is the handle of the layout that I like. It's pretty symmetrical. Here you can see I'm finding the center of this board so I can create a center axis from end to end. I'm also trying to decide, or trying to see if the board is warped or if it's cupped. If it is cupped, I would recommend to have your finish side with the cup down. That way that the board will remain stable when on a level surface like a table or your countertop in your kitchen. If you put the cup up, the board will rock. So here I'm finding the center axis of my layout also. So if I have a center axis on my layout and a center axis on my board, I can line my layout symmetrically along the board and evenly. Just find a way to secure it, tape it down, and scribe it on. I'm going to round over these bottom corners here, so you can use anything that you want that has a radius to lay those bottom corners out, or whatever you choose, or however you choose to do it. I'm extending the shoulders of the layout here with a little bit, not exactly 90 degrees, a little bit of a down slope. Basically just trying to stay as symmetrical as I can. Okay, I think I've got it laid out the way that I want it, so off to the bandsaw we go. Now obviously if you don't have a bandsaw, you don't have to do it this way. If you have a jigsaw, you can do it just as well. Or if you had a handsaw with maybe a scroll saw, you could do it that way too. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Typically when I start, I'm just trying to do a quick cut to get off some of the excess material that's going to be wasted anyway, to get closer to my lines so I can be a little bit more accurate. It should go without saying, but follow all your safety guidelines by the manufacturers of the equipment that you're using. I'm speeding this footage up so you don't have to watch it at real time, but move slowly around bandsaws like this That is the safest way to operate around any of this type of equipment, around these blades, and it can be dangerous. The slower you move, the safer it is. Don't force the material through. The more time you spend using this type of equipment, the better you are going to be at cutting your lines. And the better that you are at cutting your lines, obviously, the less you're going to have to sand to remove material later. I found that in the neck of this handle here, where you're making turns, the blade can create vertical lines along the axis, which require a lot of, or could require a lot of sanding whenever you are finishing your board. So just try to be smooth, not go over your line. Yes, for those that have noticed, this is not the cutting board that I started out with. I lost the footage of my shorter board, so I cut a longer board. It's identical, and this is the footage of it. Here's my product before sanding. Off to the races. I had a lot of areas of soft wood on the back of this board that I had to clean out, which in turn created voids, so I am filling those voids with some epoxy that I have dyed black. I have quite a few videos on my channel about mixing and pouring epoxy, so if you're interested, I will leave the links in the description and you can watch those. I also had to fill that crack that is in the handle, so I did that. I typically just use blue painter's tape to hold back the epoxy. It's really easy to use, it works well, and it's easy to remove. So this is what is left of the board after the epoxy fills, and this will all need sanded along with the board. I skipped recording the sanding of the epoxy, but I went through multiple grit levels from coarse up to fine. I have another video on my channel about removing epoxy. If you're interested, you can watch that. I'll leave the link in the description. Here I am wiping everything down with some rubbing alcohol. It kind of gives me an idea of what the finished product is going to look like. I can find defects, scratches from the sandpaper, things like that, so I know what to fix. It evaporates pretty quickly. but it kind of brings out the shine and brings out the grain also. It also raises the grain a little bit, which I will need to sand out. This is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just trying to get it as symmetrical as I can. Also, I would not recommend drilling too close to the edge, just in case. And I drill all the way through on both sides and step up the sides of the bits, so I'm trying to limit breakthrough and splintering of the wood when you're drilling from the opposite side. Just using a little rat file to put a little bevel on the edge of the hole and kind of clean it up a little bit. Trying to sand out the scratches with that are caused from the file. Probably other ways to do this, but this is what I used. Burning on my logo with my branding iron. In my opinion, you can't use too much of this stuff. This is food grade mineral oil. If the wood is still soaking it up, then keep applying. Keep applying, keep applying until it stops soaking it up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And I need subscribers. It helps the channel, helps me continue to make videos, so I need subscribers. So please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything. And I'll see you on the next one.